Next up, we're in Cloudflare. So I had previously mentioned when we were purchasing our domain and setting up our DNS that for our domain DNS that we might want to turn off proxy. I have since turned that back on. I can't recall if that's in my previous video. I'll double check. But we want to make sure that all of our IP addresses here are proxied. If you have a 525 SSL error, you might find that you need to turn off this proxy, come back to Portainer, relaunch Caddy or refresh Caddy, double check your website works, and then turn on the proxy status. Sometimes it can get hung up with the proxy when getting the certificate. We're gonna do some other things to make sure that our website is as safe as we can make it. This is why I recommend Cloudflare. Even if you don't register your domain with them, at least register your name servers so you can get the proxy status that protects your IP address. And under SSL TLS, we'll make sure that we are set to strict. They are rolling out an update that can set an auto and auto negotiate the safest choice here. So if you have that option, I'd recommend just leaving it on auto, but then also coming through and enabling the SSL recommender. But we can at least see here how many attempts are made on our server and how many of them are encrypted. Next up, I just want to kind of explain some of the options that we have here in Cloudflare. We can see how many unique visitors we've had, which this seems really high for what this website is. I haven't advertised this. The videos have only been out for a few days at the time of this recording, and we've had 700 attempts on this server. We can go to the analytics and kind of see more about that and see where these are coming from. Now, for this YouTube channel, it is a global audience, so I'm not going to be setting some of these that I'm going to go through. I'll walk you through it, but I'm not going to save it. But if I were a local nonprofit in my community, in my city, in my state, I wouldn't necessarily expect to want traffic from Canada, from Russia, from China, India, Australia. All of these hits from other countries are affecting your bandwidth, and you're kind of paying in a way for these people to test your website. And these might not even be people. They're oftentimes just bots that are constantly crawling and scanning and looking for anything out there. We can see most of the traffic is coming from the US, which I think is fine. But if you're, again, a local business, or you don't do sales outside the country, or you're something like a local nonprofit, I would really encourage you to lock it down to just your country. You don't necessarily want all of this, and we can see here that Cloudflare has stopped 6 attacks on our server. So how do we actually do some of these security options that I'm alluding to? The first one we'll go to is just the security tab, and they have some web access firewall settings. You can set some custom rules, such as limiting by country. So we could limit non-US when country does not equal, and then choose the United States. And we can either challenge them, we can give them a CAPTCHA, we can block it, or we can give them various challenges on how to access it. But a block would be a pretty safe way if you're expecting just local traffic. And I'm not deploying this because I do have international viewers. Page shield is an option that you can pay for. If you are expecting a ton of bots, that you're having a lot of automatic pings and from other countries and you don't like it, you can enable this bot fight mode, and that's going to stop or challenge some of these bots when it matches a certain pattern. I don't really anticipate that, but if you're noticing weird traffic patterns, that's an option you have as well. Another thing I'm going to recommend is coming down to Scrape Shield and enabling obfuscation, definitely said that wrong, of your email address. And so this prevents the email address from being readily available to bots or web crawlers such as Google or Bing, that someone can't Google the name of your website and then see whose email address has come up. It kind of changes some of those. I don't necessarily think it's going to make or break you, but I think it's one extra step to try to prevent spam and incoming attempts to get to you or your email address without it being an authentic visitor. You can also turn on Hotlink Protection, which prevents your image from coming up in things like Google Images where other people might try to use it. I would recommend this if you're having unique content. If you're doing a photography, if you're making digital images, I would probably recommend blocking that, just so that other people on the internet don't accidentally take it from you and that no bots can end up linking to your images. Another downside to allowing people to link to your offsite images is that you're now taking on that hosting responsibility of someone else seeing that image. And if it gets posted to the wrong place, you could have a huge influx of traffic to your domain. And if you have some of these Cloudflare settings enabled, that could cost you money. So that's really all I wanted to cover for the Cloudflare side of things, was setting up a few protections for your email addresses, your images, and then limiting by country if you needed it. If you think your website's under attack and it's really struggling, you have an option here under attack mode to set up a challenge to make sure it's not bots that are DDoSing you. And if you're making a lot of big changes all at once, you might want to enable development mode to temporarily bypass Cloudflare's cache and to see the changes you're making in real time. I haven't really had an issue with that yet, but I wanted to call that out.